I gave my husband one job: pick up our daughter's birthday cake. He came home late, empty-handed, drunk. They closed early, he slurred. She cried herself to sleep while he snored on the couch. The next morning, I found a receipt in his pocket for champagne and a hotel room, dated during the party. I took that receipt, baked a new cake, and iced the words, "Liar. Daddy cheated." I served it to him at dinner in front of the whole family. "Dessert's on me," I said. I don't even know how to start this, but here it goes. I'm Anna. I live in Springfield, Missouri. I'm 34. Last year, my husband Rick, who's 36, ruined something I can never get back: our daughter's 7th birthday. And when I say ruined, I don't mean he forgot the balloons or got the wrong flavor cake. I mean he burned it to the ground with his selfishness. I planned that party for months. Ellie, our daughter, loves unicorns and anything pink. I booked the bouncy house, strung up the decorations, ordered the food, even made little goodie bags for all the kids. I handled everything. The only thing Rick had to do was pick up the cake from Sweet Treats Bakery by 1 p.m. That's it. It was paid for, boxed up, and waiting. He just had to show up. The party started at 2 p.m. By 1:30 p.m., I started to feel that nervous pit in my stomach. I called Rick. No answer. I texted him. Nothing. I tried to tell myself it was fine. Maybe traffic. Maybe he stopped for balloons or something. By 2:15 p.m., parents and kids were already arriving. Ellie kept peeking out the front window, her little face lighting up every time a car pulled up, thinking it was her dad. It never was. I told myself he'd be there any second. I kept the kids busy in the backyard, hoping nobody would notice we didn't have a cake. At 2:45 p.m., I knew something was wrong. I ran into the kitchen, dumped out a box of cake mix I found in the pantry, and started throwing together cupcakes like a madwoman. Flour flying everywhere, butter not even softened. I didn't care. I just needed something to put candles in. Ellie helped me stir, her little hands clutching the spoon. She said, "It's okay, Mommy. I like cupcakes too." I could have cried right then. By the time Rick finally stumbled through the front door at 4 p.m., half the kids had already gone home. Ellie's eyes lit up for half a second until she saw him. His shirt was wrinkled, his hair messy, and when he opened his mouth, the smell of alcohol hit me like a slap. They closed early, he slurred, holding up his hands like it wasn't his fault. I didn't say a word. I just stared at him while Ellie's face crumbled. She ran to her room and shut the door. I could hear her muffled sobs even over the noise of the kids still playing in the yard. "Rick?" He collapsed on the couch, face down, and started snoring 5 minutes later. I handled everything, cleaned up the backyard, thanked the guests, smiled, and lied through my teeth while my heart felt like it was turning to dust inside my chest. That night, after Ellie finally cried herself to sleep, I started gathering up the wreckage. Beer cans, paper plates, half-deflated balloons. I picked up Rick's jacket off the floor to toss it over him, and a little slip of paper fluttered to the ground. I almost didn't look. I almost just crumpled it and threw it away. But I didn't. It was a receipt. From the Rosewood Hotel downtown. Room service. Champagne. A king-sized room. 2:32 p.m. check-in time. During our daughter's birthday party. I just sat there at the kitchen table under the harsh kitchen light, staring at that receipt while Rick snored like a goddamn animal in the next room. I stayed up all night thinking, crying a little, then getting mad all over again. I thought about all the times I forgave him for being late, for forgetting things, for having one too many with the boys. I thought about how Ellie kept asking me all day, "Is Daddy coming soon?" with that little hopeful voice. By morning, I knew exactly what I was going to do. When Rick shuffled into the kitchen, all bleary-eyed and yawning like a man who had the luxury of sleeping off a hangover, I smiled at him like nothing was wrong. "Hey," I said cheerfully, "what do you think about having everyone over for Sunday dinner? Your parents, my folks, maybe my sister too. Rick scratched his head and grunted something like, sure, why not? I spent the rest of the day cleaning, cooking, setting the table just right. Rick spent it in front of the TV, yelling at a football game. After dinner, when everyone was sitting around laughing and passing around the mashed potatoes, I stood up and said, time for dessert. I went into the kitchen and pulled out the cake I'd made that morning. It looked perfect. Picture perfect, actually. White buttercream frosting, little pink roses piped around the edges, silver edible pearls. Nobody could tell anything was off. Until I took the lid off. Because in the center of that perfect cake, written in big, angry red letters, it said, liar. Daddy cheated. Dead silence. Rick's mom clapped her hand over her mouth. My dad's fork dropped to his plate with a loud clatter. My sister's eyes got huge. Rick just stared at it, confused at first. Then his face turned bright red. What the hell is this, Anna? He barked, looking around like somehow this was my fault. I didn't even flinch. I pulled the hotel receipt out of my back pocket and flicked it onto the table like a card. That's dessert, I said, my voice steady and cold. And that's proof. Rick's father, who had always defended him no matter what, just shook his head and muttered, unbelievable. Rick's mom started crying. My sister grabbed her wine glass and took a huge gulp, looking like she didn't know whether to laugh or scream. Rick opened his mouth to say something, anything, but no words came out. I didn't wait for the excuses. I went to Ellie's room, packed her little backpack, scooped her up in my arms, and walked right past that table full of shocked faces. I didn't even look back. After I left that night, I didn't go home. I took Ellie and drove straight to my sister's house across town. She opened the door in her pajamas, took one look at my face, and just pulled us both inside without a word. I didn't sleep that night either. I kept thinking Rick would show up, banging on the door, begging, crying, lying. He didn't. Maybe he knew better. Or maybe he was too drunk to care. The next morning, my sister helped me call a lawyer. I didn't want to waste another second tied to that man. While I was at the lawyer's office, my phone kept buzzing. Missed calls. Texts. Some from Rick. Some from his mom. Some from numbers I didn't even know. I ignored them all. But when I got back to my sister's house, she was sitting on the couch, holding her phone, her face pale. You need to see this, she said. Rick had posted on Facebook. A long, sloppy post. Calling me crazy. Accusing me of ruining his family. Saying I embarrassed him in front of everyone for no good reason. He didn't mention the receipt. He didn't mention the hotel. Just made it sound like I'd flipped out over nothing. And the worst part? Some people were believing him. His friends, the ones he drank with every weekend, were commenting things like, stay strong, man, and some women are just crazy. I wanted to smash my phone. Instead, I took a deep breath. I opened my own Facebook account, which I hadn't used in months, and posted a simple photo. The cake. The receipt. No caption. No explanation. Just facts. It went viral. Within hours, hundreds of comments poured in. Strangers, friends from high school, neighbors, they all saw it. And they weren't on Rick's side. By that night, Rick's Facebook was gone. Deleted. But the damage was done. For a few days, it was quiet. I thought maybe he'd just give up. Let me and Ellie go. Maybe the shame would be enough. I was wrong. One afternoon, while Ellie was taking a nap and I was sitting on the porch with my sister, a beat-up red truck pulled into the driveway. Rick. He got out, looking rough like he hadn't slept, hadn't shaved, hadn't eaten. He stormed up the steps, his face twisted in anger. You need to come home, he barked. I stood up. My sister stood too. I'm not coming back, I said. My voice was steady, but inside my heart was hammering so hard I could barely hear myself. You're ruining our family, he shouted, waving his arms. Over what? A stupid mistake? You're blowing it way out of... I cut him off. You cheated on your daughter's birthday, Rick. You got drunk, lied to my face, let her cry herself to sleep while you snored on the couch. You don't get to call that a stupid mistake. He took a step closer, his face getting red. You think you're so perfect? He sneered. You think you never messed up? My sister stepped between us. You need to leave, Rick. Now. For a second, I thought he might hit her. Or me. But he just stood there, breathing heavy, fists clenched, before turning and storming back to his truck. He peeled out of the driveway, tires squealing. I thought maybe that would be it. I thought wrong. For about a week, things were calm. Too calm. I focused on Ellie. Took her to school, helped her with homework, tucked her in at night while she clutched her favorite stuffed unicorn. Every night she asked, "Is Daddy coming back?" And every night I told her the truth, simple and clear. Daddy's not living with us right now. Mommy's taking care of you. She nodded, trying to be brave. Kids understand more than we think. Meanwhile, my lawyer filed the divorce papers. We had a court date set. I was ready to move forward. But Rick wasn't done with his little tantrum. One morning, my sister shook me awake. She had been getting ready for work when she looked outside and saw it. Spray painted all across her front porch in thick black letters, "Liar bitch." It was Rick. I knew it in my gut. Nobody else would do something that cowardly and childish. We called the police. Filed a report. They took photos, asked questions, promised to look into it. But they didn't arrest him. They said without witnesses or video footage, it would be hard to prove. Rick was smart about that part. He didn't get caught. But he left other footprints. I started getting weird texts from random numbers. Things like, "You made your bed, now lay in it." "Poor little Ellie doesn't have a real family anymore. You're going to regret this." Sick stuff. Cruel stuff. I changed my number. Blocked everything I could. But he kept finding ways. I got calls at work that hung up the second I answered. I found nasty notes under my windshield wipers. One night, I even heard footsteps outside my window and saw a shadow move away when I turned on the porch light. He was trying to scare me. He wanted me to come running back. He wanted control again. But the thing he didn't understand was that the more he pushed, the stronger I got. About a month after I left him, the biggest twist came. I got a call from Rick's mom. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. She was crying. Sobbing so hard, I could barely understand her at first. "Anna," she gasped, "you need to know, it wasn't just one time." "What?" I said, my stomach turning. "He's been cheating for years," she blurted out. "Not just that day. Not just once." Apparently, Rick's parents had found out about a whole second life he had. Another woman. Someone from his work. They'd been seeing each other for over a year. He even spent holidays with her when he claimed to be working late. They only came clean because the other woman had shown up at Rick's parents' house, furious that Rick still had a wife. She thought he was divorced already. She wanted answers too. Rick's mother broke down on the phone, begging me not to punish her or Rick's father for Rick's sins. I listened. I thanked her for telling me. And when I hung up, I sat there staring at the wall, feeling like my brain was buzzing. He didn't just betray me once. He didn't just make a drunken mistake. He built a whole secret life while I raised our daughter and held everything together. And the worst part? He would have kept lying forever if he hadn't gotten caught. After Rick's mom called me, I sat in my sister's living room just staring into space. I couldn't believe it. A year-long affair. All those nights he came home late, claiming he was stuck at work. All those holidays he said he was volunteering overtime for extra cash. It wasn't overtime. It wasn't volunteering. It was her. And while I had been up late wrapping Ellie's Christmas presents, while I sat alone during New Year's Eve waiting for him to come home, he had been with her. The anger I felt then wasn't like the rage I had before. It wasn't hot. It was cold. Heavy. Final. I wasn't just leaving him anymore. I was going to tear down every part of his lie, piece by piece, and make sure he never got to pretend to be the good guy again. I talked to my lawyer the next day. We amended the divorce paperwork to include everything: the hotel receipt, the vandalism, the harassment. I gave them copies of the texts, screenshots of the Facebook mess, statements from my sister about Rick's threats. And I asked for sole custody of Ellie. Rick tried to fight it at first. He showed up at court looking like hell: baggy eyes, scruffy beard, dirty clothes. He didn't even bother hiring a real lawyer. Just some cheap guy who kept mixing up names. I sat there in the courtroom, calm and cold, while Rick's lies fell apart under oath. When they showed the receipt on the overhead screen, Rick dropped his head. When they read the threatening texts aloud, he winced. When my sister testified about the spray paint, Rick didn't even look at her. The judge didn't buy a word of his excuses. Not one. When the final judgment came down, it was clear and strong: sole custody to me. Rick gets supervised visits only. If he shows proof of completing alcohol rehab and anger management classes. Restraining order granted for me and Ellie. Financial penalties for the harassment. Rick sat there like a deflated balloon. No fight left in him. When the judge banged the gavel, I didn't smile. I didn't cry. I just felt free. After court, Rick tried to catch me in the parking lot. One last try to save face. "Anna, wait," he called, jogging after me. I turned and faced him square. I didn't flinch. "What?" I said, my voice flat. He looked desperate. Sweaty. Lost. "Can't we work something out?" he pleaded. "For Ellie's sake?" I looked at him, the man who ruined our daughter's birthday, who cheated for a year, who scared me and my family, and I felt nothing. "No, Rick," I said, looking him dead in the eye. "For Ellie's sake, we're better off without you." And then I walked away. It's been almost a year now. Ellie's doing great. She's in 2nd grade, she loves soccer, and she hasn't asked about her dad in months. Me? I'm good too. I got a better job. I bought a little house with a backyard for Ellie and a dog she named Sparkles. I smile for real now. I sleep through the night. As for Rick? Last I heard, he got fired from his job for showing up drunk. His little side piece dumped him when the truth came out. He's living with a buddy, drinking away what little he has left. I don't feel sorry for him. He made his choices. And me? I finally made mine too.